kind of want to start, kind of just take it right down the path. So, budget allocation, it's not
Mhm.
talked about. It's not super sexy, right?
Mhm.
And you hear different trains of thought. Like some individuals, they budget for the whole year at the end of the year, right? They're
Yeah.
playing the tax liability game. And another positioning maybe, oh, you need to put X% in. Like, to grow a 9-figure business, what was your thought? And obviously you had to control budget from a marketing and biz dev
Mhm.
side. Like what went into that?
So because our focus was growth, for growth's sake, just go and grow, that meant that we would spend a lot of money on the marketing side of the business, and invested very, very heavily. For me, as the head of the marketing department, having a juicy big budget with a CEO who would just say yes to most things was a lot of fun, and it was a lot of flexibility. But I think the reason why we got there was that, the agency business is effectively a retention business. Ultimately, you sell them and you retain them, and as you retain them, you get a monthly annuity. And the what Scorpion had been able to be very successful in is retaining clients for the long run. And so what that meant is, round numbers. Let's say a client pays Scorpion $10,000 a month. If they keep them for 12 months, it's 120K. 24 months, 240K, so on and so forth. Well, most of the competitors at Scorpion who are competing against Scorpion didn't have the same level of retention. And so if we were able to keep a client for 24 or 36 months on average relative to our competition who loses them at 12, we have a much larger, what we call lifetime value, the total value of a client on average. And that ability for us to take money from the future revenue that this client that we're going to close in the future and spend it now allowed us to be much more aggressive in our marketing. So when I talk about marketing and budgets, the first place to focus your business, especially if you have a recurring business, recurring revenue business, is how do I build a company that keeps clients coming back month after month? Once you've solved that, marketing becomes a lot more interesting.
How would you flip that, say, for the personal injury law firms
Sure.
listening? Would you
Yeah.
think of it like a referral perspective? Like, how would you put that same
Yeah.
thought process to that?
So it's a good question. I have not thought about that in this regard yet. So let me think here. I think the corollary, if there is one there, is that the business of personal injury attorneys, which my understanding is that it's mostly a transactional type of relationship. There is an expected outcome that the attorney is being hired for, and then they deliver that outcome and they get paid based on different ways. And so based on that, I think the personal injury attorneys who are thriving and who are doing the best and growing and winning big cases have overinvested, quote unquote, overinvested in the marketing machine, like figuring out how to drive a consistent volume of high quality cases, because they don't stick around necessarily. And so that, to me, given that dynamic, you really have to figure out how to master marketing from a budget percentage perspective. On average, and I've seen you put out data, and I've researched this, that attorneys who want to grow aggressively will spend between 10 to 20% of their gross revenue on marketing, like sales and marketing. Attorneys who want to sort of grow at an average rate 5 to 10% a year are going to spend between 5 and 10% of their annual revenue. If they're not that interested in growing, they'll spend less than 5%.
I think those are dead on, and
Yeah.
I appreciate that thought process on just I think the disproportionate on the front end
Mm.
lends itself to more growth.
Yeah.
And it also allows you to become better as a firm to maximize case value through volume.
Right.
The one of the things I think you're an expert on is this strategy on the client journey and specialization. So
Yeah.
you have an interesting perspective on specialization within
Mm.
verticals. In fact, you have a book coming out called Anyone, Not Everyone,
Yeah.
on how to escape founder-led sales.
Yeah.
What is deep specialization? How does it relate to clients for a firm, and and how they think about it?
Sure. Well, regardless of the business type, when you serve, especially in a service business, such as attorneys, personal injury attorneys, when you serve too many different types of clients, if you work too many different types of cases, especially as you're coming up as a new firm, you introduce a lot of sort of chaos into the business because you're sort of doing a lot of things, trying to cover a lot of ground with limited resources, and you end up doing things okay, and you're really never in a position to build up systems and processes. And so I what I found to sort of resolve that challenging issue that a lot of attorneys find themselves in is through niching down and specializing. And honestly, that's not really a surprise, but what you get as a result of taking a specific, let's say, sub niche within personal injury, trucking accidents, whatever that is for you. The thing that there's three sort of elements that go into success, and I call it the deep specialization strategy. And number one is having focus, and focus is saying yes to one thing at the same time saying no to a lot of other things. So being really intentional about what you want to focus in on when it comes to who you're serving. Number two is having a strategy, which is a massive action plan built to achieve a big goal. So you have to know what you're trying to go after, and put a lot of energy into focusing this your effort and resources into achieving a specific goal. And then the third one is care, which is all about finding an audience that you want to serve that you actually care about, because we live in a very competitive market today where people are searching for niches left and right. They're throwing money here, throwing money there. And what becomes signal in the market is when an attorney really shows that they care about this audience. They may have a personal connection. They may have a familial connection to this audience. They may have other types of connections, but there's a level of care that allows them to break through the noise, the marketing noise, and communicate to that audience much more authentically in a way that stands out much better than not caring.